Hello, and welcome to Cox Notes, where I just plow along with about anything that comes on my mind. What you're about to see, hopefully, is the second installment of a series designed to touch on the little tidbits of history in and around Montrose, Colorado. It's not meant to be a comprehensive history, and it's not going to be in chronological order. It's just pieces of history that I've gathered over the past few years that I think is an interesting topic for what I'm doing in Cox Notes. History research is captivating, and I've mentioned this before. You get started on one project, and then pretty soon you're sidetracked and you're on to another project. And that's a lot of what this is all about. So today I'm going to talk about a mining project that took place at the confluence of the Dallas Creek and Uncompahgre River. So to do this, I'm going to use a series of illustrations and photographs, and I hope you enjoy it. If you haven't watched episode 1 of the Montrose Tidbits, please do so. And by all means, subscribe. Heck, who knows? Maybe someday I'll monetize this thing. So here we go. Ouray County, south of Montrose, is well known for its mining history. But most of that history is focused around famous mines in the Red Mountain and Sniffles area. Mines like the Idorido, the Campbird, the American Eddy, and the Virginias come to mind. But about halfway between Ouray and Montrose was a mining operation that held big dreams also. This is a photograph that I took of the staging area for Green Construction Company during the massive land moving operations that took place during the construction of Ridgeway Reservoir. Larry Rankin, a foreman for the company, gave my family and me an exclusive tour of the construction area. Larry had a background in mining and was anxious to tell mining lore. It was then that I first learned of the gold placer mine, which was located just before the mouth of the Dallas as it empties into the Uncompahgre River. The town of Dallas, near the confluence of Dallas Creek and the Uncompahgre River, was once proposed to be called Gold City because of this placer operation that I'm about to tell you about. But it was ultimately named Dallas. Dallas was named for George Mifflin Dallas, who was the vice president under James Polk from 1845 to 1849. Dallas quickly became a major hub for the stages and freight wagons that were headed west. It was destined also to become a big part of the railroad, but that changed when a group of manipulators managed to locate the railroad junction in Ridgeway. But what did that all have to do with gold? Here we can see an aerial shot of where the Dallas empties into the Uncompahgre River. This confluence has changed somewhat with the construction of the Ridgeway Dam. A map of the area, especially prepared for Crofut's Gripsack Guide of Colorado in 1885, shows the town of Dallas as Dallasville. Crofut gave little significance to this little town, but on this same map we note that many of the mining camps in the south end of Ouray County on the western slope of the Continental Divide are evident. This entire area is part of the drainage that becomes the Uncompahgre River that flows north to its confluence with the Gunnison River and on down to the Colorado River, etc., etc., etc. Given the gold deposits that were found on the east side of Sniffles in mines like the Campbird, it was not a far stretch to believe that gold could have found its way down the west side of the mountain and into the Uncompahgre drainage. As a general rule, gold comes in two forms in Colorado. First is what's called lode gold. It's gold that is locked into another medium, such as granite or quartz. In this case, the rock must be crushed and go through some sort of extraction process to recover the gold. The other form is placer gold, often called free gold. The gold is in the form of nuggets, or more often flakes, that settle as the minerals are carried down from the mountain, or the mother lode as it's known. Lode gold is most common in the Uray and Telluride area, but people speculated many times that some of that gold could have been dislodged and thereby end up in the rivers and streams. The first order of business in any placer gold operation is to get water. To do that, the developers in this case dug a ditch that was nearly 11 miles long to intersect with Dallas Creek. It was necessary that the headgate be located at a point above the operation that would provide adequate elevation and thereby good water pressure to operate their placer operation. So the water of Dallas Creek, 11 miles south of Ridgeway, was diverted into this ditch. And much of the work was done by the investors themselves, and records show that they also hired several Chinese railroad workers that were originally hired to do the manual labor on the railroad. On April 19th of 1878, the Rocky Mountain News reported that several hundred men left Lake City to locate claims on Dallas and Cow Creeks. The Dallas Placer Mining Company was organized in 1883 to further pursue the operation of the site. By October, a hydraulic elevator capable of processing 2,000 cubic yards of gravel per day was in place. The Dallas Placer Mining Company was organized, in the words of one of the speculators, quote, to work the extensive gravel deposits supposed to exist on the Uncompahgre River at a point below the mouth of the Dallas, end of quote. That same year, an illustration by Harry Sandom appeared in the Century magazine and depicted the use of the high-pressure water to wash large amount of gravel in a process known as hydraulic mining. This process was prevalent in the Fairplay area, but not so common in this part of Colorado. Using this process, large amounts of dirt and gravel are washed from a side hill or a riverbank and routed through a sluice, where lighter material is washed on through and the heavy material is trapped in the riffles of the sluice. These concentrates are then cleaned from the sluice for further processing to remove the gold. Here we see an actual stereotype photo of the operation that was taking place at the Dallas project. Here we see a picture of the side of Log Hill. The project itself was located down in the lower left corner of this project, or this photo. The arrow on the side indicates the approximate place where the ditch came down off of the side of Log Hill to provide water to the monitors. While 140 years of development and erosion and construction and natural growth have nearly obliterated most of the evidence of the placer ditch, comparison of that old stereotype photo and the more modern photo shows some of the anomalies on the side of Log Hill that are still evident. The Dallas Placer project was rather unique in southwestern Colorado, which really points out that the quality of the gold recovered was not all that good. There were only 7 placer claims in the area, and then one other in Delta County in the Escalante area. Most of the records show that the gold from the Dallas placer was generally about 760 fine. The word fine is used 2 different ways when it comes to gold, but gold that is 760 fine means that it's 76% pure gold. Not real good. If you sold an ounce of gold, it would be worth about 76% of the gold price at the time. A study conducted in the mid-1930s, when gold was priced at a little over $35 per ounce, showed that the Dallas site would be worth about 5 cents per cubic yard of processed material. Even in today's market, that ounce would yield less than $1,000. But it would take more than 50 dump truck loads of the material to be processed. So, while the amount of gold did not justify large operations, the mining area was acquired by several Chinese men who came to Dallas to work with the railroad construction in the 1880s. They built several small houses on the site and managed to make some significant money to offset the low wages they were getting at the laundry in Ridgeway. They sold their gold directly to the bank in Ridgeway. So when somebody asks, so there's gold in that there creek? Well, the answer is probably yes, but it's probably going to be a low grade. And if we look even at the higher prices of today, it would be almost impossible to produce. Geological studies show that if there is good gold there, it would be about 130 feet deep. And just in the 1930s, the cost would be more than the return. And one other thing before you decide to grab a gold pan and a little sluice box and head for the southern end of the lake, keep in mind that while gold panning is not specifically banned within Ridgeway State Park and other parks, removing minerals from the park is prohibited. And catch and release fishing might be okay, but catch and release gold doesn't sound like much fun to me. And that brings us to the end of this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it sparks a little interest in history on your part. But don't forget to subscribe. For now, I'm Bob Cox. This is Cox Notes, and have a wonderful day.